So, welcome everyone to Southwest Missouri SCORE's Tuesdays at 2 webinar series. We do this typically every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, although we'll be doing the fifth Tuesday this month since the fourth Tuesday is Thanksgiving. This is optimizing your pricing strategy to maximize profits with Julie Brander. My name is Katie Pattison. I am the workshop chair for SCORE Southwest Missouri. I also happen to work for the Springfield Greene County Library, which is our partner in this workshop today. If you're not familiar with the library's business resources, I just want you to know that we offer market and consumer research databases such as Reference Solutions, Demographics Now, which is an amazing demographics research tool. It's the same data used by large corporations that you have access to for free with your library card. We have meeting and co-working spaces, a maker space with lots of cool equipment, and of course, books, audiobooks, newspapers, magazines, and workshops for business and entrepreneurship, just like this one. You can find the info on all of that at thelibrary.org/business. If you are not here from Springfield, you should check out your library because many libraries offer business resources, and it's one of those best kept secrets that you definitely want to do if you are starting or growing a business. Just a few details for today's workshop. I will be your moderator, so I'll be around here. I'm here to help. You can send a chat to me if you like, or reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. Love to have you introduce yourself in the chat or out loud if you like. I have invited each of you to be panelists if you would like to do that. So if you have a smaller group, we'd love to have kind of a conversation if you're open to that. Otherwise, we can kind of use the chat. I will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A throughout, so feel free to add your questions there as we go along, and we'll have lots of times for questions today. Julie's presentation is about 30 minutes long, so do bring your personalized questions. She's got lots of experience and is happy to answer those questions. As usual, everyone who's registered for this workshop will receive an email within about a week of the event that will include a recording of the event, and Julie has also graciously offered to share her copy of her PowerPoint or her slideshow through that email, so you'll get those. And you'll also receive an evaluation email from SCORE. We'd love for you to just take a moment. It's just a few questions to fill that out. That really helps us to plan for future workshops. So I'm going to give you just a quick rundown on SCORE. SCORE is an organization that is a nationwide nonprofit. It's there for you for the life of your business. We offer mentoring and resources to support you from idea to exit. There are three things we like you to remember about SCORE that we can help your small business with. That is by providing free business advice and mentoring, offering low or no cost business training, just like this workshop you're in today. And there are lots of amazing resources on the SCORE website at score.org, business templates, resources, recordings, on-demand courses. Here at the library, we refer people to that resource all the time when they have questions about business. So definitely check out that website if you have not been there. You can also request a mentor at score.org. I want to just plug a few upcoming workshops we have here in Southwest Missouri. We have a veteran entrepreneurship series coming up next week in partnership with SBDC and the SBA. That's a two-part workshop with a Building Your Personal Credit workshop at 10 a.m., followed by a Resources to Start and Grow Your Business at 1 p.m. That's happening in person at the Schweitzer Brentwood Library on, excuse me, it says the 8th there, but it is actually November 15th. Apologies for that mistake on the slide, but November 15th is when that is happening. And then on November 29th, we have Tax Tips for You and Your Business with Michelle Goldsberry from PSC Accounting. That's Tuesdays at 2. It's a virtual workshop. You can sign up for any of those or get more information at our chapter website, which is swmissouri.score.org, and click on local workshops to see what all we have coming up. And everything that SCORE does is possible through the effort of our volunteers nationwide. We have over 10,000 volunteers serving clients in over 1,500 communities, and we are always looking for new volunteers, whether you might be a volunteer mentor, you might assist with planning workshops, and there are lots of different things. It's a great way to get involved in the community and make a difference in the business community. Here's that information one more time, score.org/volunteer if you're interested in volunteering. or you can visit our chapter website at swmissouri.score.org. Now I'm going to introduce our presenter. Julie Brander is an experienced entrepreneur who has built businesses from the ground up, including manufacturing, wholesale, retail, and nonprofit businesses. She has her MBA in entrepreneurship, has taught business courses on a college level, founded a nonprofit with expertise in fundraising. She's a dedicated advocate for small business with vast experience and knowledge in helping entrepreneurs start and expand their business. She's currently involved with SCORE, Mentors to America's Small Business, and speaks on a regular basis on business topics for entrepreneurs looking to start and expand their business. She's also spearheaded the SCORE Las Vegas Women's Initiative, a group that inspires women and supports them in growing their business with education, mentoring, and networking. Julie, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. So let me share my screen. I cannot share my screen while the other.
Let me just kind of stop sharing mine here.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy. I wish I could see you all. I would love to see you.
I am going to continue to invite folks who haven't done so yet to join us on screen. If you are open to that, we would love to have that conversation with you.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see here. I'm going to do this. Let's talk about money, real money that you can control. What do you need to do to make more money? Who would like to make more profit in their business? Did you know that only 40% of all businesses are profitable, and there are over 500,000 new businesses that are started each month? And with all the competition out there, owning a profitable business isn't easy. So let me show you some practical tips that you can apply right now. We all know that customers and profits are critical to the success of our business. I started a fine jewelry importing business, which evolved into a manufacturing business and wholesale business, and I had multiple retail stores. I ended up selling my business after 20 years, and I got my MBA and taught entrepreneurship. And I made a lot of mistakes and had to figure it out. But I can tell you, understanding the numbers was the key to my success. So I really would like to get to know who is here, and if you're currently in business.
So I've launched that poll there, Julie. So if we've got 3 answers so far, 4 answers. Okay. So folks, if you'll take that poll so Julie knows the audience she's speaking to, so she can personalize this presentation to that. Are you able to see the poll?
When you close the poll, I can see the results.
Okay, great. I'll give it just another 30 seconds or so here, folks, if you would answer that quick poll.
So I'd like to know if you're currently in business, if you're a service business, an online business, or a manufacturer, product distribution business, or even if you're a nonprofit. I'm familiar. I've been a SCORE volunteer, let me tell you, after I sold my business. In 1996, over 25 years ago, I became a volunteer. I retired at 41, and I was the youngest SCORE volunteer in the nation. And I've been a SCORE volunteer ever since, doing speaking and lots of business mentoring. And I just love this organization, the women's organization. I do DEI. I'm involved in all aspects. So we have 2 out of 4 are in business. I guess 2 out of 4 are in a service business, and 3 out of 4 are on an online. So there's no product distribution, online and service. Okay, very good. And a couple people not in business. Very good. So let's get started. For those that aren't in business, let's talk about where business ideas come from. Many people who've worked in the industry end up realizing they can do business better. And from their work experience, they are now starting a business. There are other people that had a hobby that actually turned into a business. And many people actually had a problem in their life and decided to turn that problem, that solving that problem became a business. And of course, there are people that have inventions that turn into businesses. And of course, enhancing something that currently exists. And what we do when we come up with these business ideas is we're looking at current trends to really determine what is needed out there. So you want to evaluate the business idea and you want to determine whether or not the business is viable. Is it in a growing industry or is it declining? We certainly wouldn't want to open up a Blockbuster video store because we know that they're out of business and everyone's on Netflix today. And also, the other thing is before you start a business is really evaluating all of your personal expenses. Do you have enough money to cover your personal expenses so that you can start a business? Because in the beginning, there's not always enough profits. It may take 12 to 18 months to make a profit. And do you know who your customers are? I've had so many clients that I ask, who are your customers? And they really don't know. So really doing surveys and figuring out who your customers are is another first step in evaluating your business. Also, decide what your competitive advantage is. How are you going to compete when there's so many other businesses doing what you're thinking about doing? And are you able to deliver more benefits and value to the customer to be different from your competition? And think about how much money is needed to run your business. And are you able to make enough profit to quit your day job and run your business full time? So these are some important steps for business success. You need to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and any weaknesses you may have, you may need to hire someone to help you with that aspect of the business. It's very important that you have knowledge in the industry through formal training or education. On the job experience are all industry experience that you need. And you want to evaluate and study all the different markets that you can sell your products and services in, and do a market analysis to test the market with your products or services with actual customers, samples, surveys, trial offers. And you want to write a business plan with a clear direction. Now, there are 5-page business plans, a feasibility study where you can write down your idea and actually determine whether or not the business is feasible. When I sold my business, I have a 1-page business outline that I used to determine whether the business was a feasible business. And I had a different idea every single week. I'm happy to share that outline with you as well. And basically, once you realize the business is a viable business that you can make a profit, do whatever it takes to get it off the ground. The biggest obstacle when people start businesses is really money, not having enough money to start, not having the management experience or knowing how to run a business, and of course, not having any customers. So think about all of these things to see if it's the right idea. Now we need to understand the competition, because the competition is what's going to decide whether our business will be successful. So you have direct competitors that do exactly what you do, building websites. And then you have indirect competitors that do building websites and 10 other things. So you have to determine how you're going to compete with the direct competitors, but also the indirect competitors, which could be a one-stop shop that does everything, not only websites, for example. And think about what your strengths and weaknesses are. Again, are you able to do everything in the business? Because when you start, most cases, you don't really have the money to hire people. There's no payroll. And when you're looking at your competition, you want to look at, do they have a prime location? Are they an online business? And how much visibility do they have online? And can you also get that visibility? Look at your competition to see what they're selling. Is it price? Is it quality? Is it value, convenience? You know, what is it that they're selling? How long have they been in business? And the main thing is, what is their reputation? I mean, I can tell you, I am doing I'm looking for a service person, and I called 4 different people. One person didn't answer their phone, and I didn't want to leave a message because when I leave a message, they usually never call me back. One person did answer the phone, and the minute I told him about the job, ran over to give me a quote. And there's 2 other people that said they'd get there and haven't shown up yet. So think about when you're calling people for any kind of a service, how responsive they are, and can you do business with them? And think about what their weaknesses are. That's a big weakness in a business if they don't return calls, if they don't show up. So you want to really see your competition, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what they do well. Call them and do business with them and see how they do business. What is their business practice? And you can even work for them to learn about the business. And know that you're going to learn from your competitors because you're going to try to find the gap and do your business better than they do. So now let's talk about the customer. You know about your business idea. Now you know about the competition. Now let's talk about the customer and understanding who they are. What are their attitudes, their interests, their beliefs, their lifestyles? Where do they live? How old are they? How far will they travel to do business with you? Or is all the business online business? And if it's online business, you have to know when they're online. So you can target your business and interact with them if you choose. And when are they most likely to buy? Are you selling something that's seasonal, or are you selling something that people need every single day? And think about what your customer needs. What are they looking to do to solve the problem that they have? Businesses are solutions to problems. What is it that they want to make their life easier? Take time to really know your customer and build your business around your customer's needs. So if you have a storefront and you're open from 9 to 5, there may be customers that work until 5 and can't get to you. So maybe you would have extended hours. So think about how you can build your business around what customers need and who they are and what they do. Now, the first steps in really starting a business also is understanding how much money is needed to start this business. The startup costs are the one-time expenses, and then you have the money needed each month to run the business. So you have to understand the cash flow, and that means the money that's coming into the business in sales or income that you're making. And then you really have to know all of your expenses, and you have to look at each and every expense that you have in your business and think about ways to increase your profit margins and identify all the fixed and variable costs. So there are fixed costs that never go away and variable costs that may change each month, and always have a reserve of 3 to 6 months. So we all know that from the pandemic, there was absolutely no business. And the businesses that had a reserve are the ones that survived. So always have a 3 to 6 month reserve to cover your basic overhead expenses. It's all about profit. We'll go into more detail about each of these aspects. So now, when you're building your business, you need to find 3 or more vendors or suppliers. And you want to compare and negotiate every single thing that you purchase. You may want to ask for drop shipping so that you don't have to carry the inventory. So you call the supplier as needed. You may also want to ask for quantity discounts. In my business, the wholesale business, I mean, there were minimum quantities for a discount, and it could be 10, 20, or 30%. And always ask for credit terms. Net 30 days is not uncommon. And suppliers are used to giving their customers credit terms. Of course, they prefer the cash business, but Don't be afraid to ask for credit terms, especially when you need more inventory during your busiest seasons. And you need to make sure that your suppliers have enough inventory that they can deliver. So when I realized in my business that I had one vendor, and when he couldn't deliver, I was stuck. I wasn't able to, deliver the orders for my customers. So then I realized I needed more than one vendor. And also, be aware of the shipping costs, storage you may need, the packaging, the bags, the boxes, the labels and the labor. All of these things are important. And of course, the internet, social media, website, content management, you want to get quotes and compare pricing on all of these things that cost you money. I know in the jewelry business, I had a client, the piece of the jewelry was $10, but the box was $10. Now that doesn't make sense. So the packaging was an important piece of how much should the packaging be versus the cost of the actual product that you're selling. And also consider and think about any recurring expenses that you need to identify. So these are some pricing strategies. When you're purchasing something, you need to know what kind of a markup you need in order to make a profit. So in my business, I had multiple retail stores, and I had my accountant help me identify all of my overhead expenses, and I needed a 2.5 time markup. So if I bought something for $10, I needed to sell it for $25, and that gave me a 40% profit margin. And you may want to, a lot of people do a 2-time markup, but if you do a 2-time markup and add 20%, maybe you can offer a 20% discount. There's a store in town that offers a discount of 20% on one item every single month when you go in the store. You can get one item and get 20% off. So think about that. That brings customers in every single month to purchase. So think about the markup. There's also demand-based pricing. And this is pricing where you can charge more when there's a higher demand and when a customer is willing to pay more. So think about this. On Valentine's Day, the price of roses goes way up, and people are willing to pay more for roses on Valentine's Day. And other holidays, you find that the pricing may go up. Now, there's also hourly pricing. You're charging by the hour. When you're doing an hourly pricing, many companies will have a minimum, like a 3-hour minimum plus whatever it is by the hour. So that's hourly. There's fixed fee pricing. So you're charging a flat fee for a job or a project. And you really have to identify whether or not you're charging enough. And you learn as you go in business. So hopefully you know that painting a 10 by 10 room takes you 2 hours, and that would be this amount of money. So you'll know the more you do the same job over and over, how much you need to charge in order to make a fair wage. There's also value pricing, and that is what the customer is willing to pay based on the interest added value. There's a status with this value pricing. People pay a lot more money for Apple products. They pay more money for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, $4 a cup of coffee. And when you make it at home, how much is it? 50 cents or less. And of course, the Louis Vuitton bags, Chanel, all those designers get a huge amount of money for their products because of the value that the customers feel the brand is worth. Now, you can also do bundle pricing, and that is bundling items to sell more at a reduced price. So you put a package together and people pay a price and they save. With a Happy Meal at McDonald's, it's usually a discount. And then, of course, we have psychological pricing. Think about it. Would you rather pay $9.99, which sounds a lot less than $10? Buy one, get one free is a lot more enticing. When you buy something and you get a free gift with purchase, when I go to the makeup counters, that entices me to purchase that brand from that company because of the free gift. So product distribution, I'll briefly let you know that when you purchase a product, you need to know how fast it will sell and how many different ways you can sell that product. The same with your service, selling your service in many different ways. If you're manufacturing, for me, I needed the maximum production capacity to reduce the cost. It costs the same amount of money if I make 10 items or 100 items. So you want to make sure that the production capacity and the manufacturing cost are the same no matter how much you make. You can think about product distribution on giving it on consignment, mass distribution, and of course, always thinking about how you can increase your customers, expand to new territories, identify new customer markets, and always in any aspect of your business, you want to nurture existing customers because you're always looking for repeat sales. That keeps your profits up. That's how you maximize your business and your profits. And in order to make more sales, you can consider doing pop-up shops. You can do online sales, affiliate marketing with influencers on Instagram, so you can sell more. Multi-level marketing, where you have the first person and everybody below you makes a percentage of the sale. You can create partnerships with other people in like businesses or complementary businesses as you. You can do private events to bring people together for sales, and of course the co-branding and collaborations. So we know Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins are co-branded. They're under the same roof. That's what co-branding is, two businesses sharing a space, and of course collaborating with other businesses that are similar to yours or complement your business will help you make more sales. So the goal always is we never have enough customers, no matter what. So we want to keep those customers coming back by thanking them for their business, always interacting. Is there anything else I can do for you? You know, initiate constant communication with a phone call, a text, and email. You want to create sales, maybe. Incentive programs, rewards, new products, anything, new services, in order to keep those customers and keep your business top of mind. You want to value your customers and get to know them personally. I can tell you, when I had retail stores, I wasn't very good at remembering my customers' names. And years later, they'd come up to me, they knew my name and I didn't know their name. So knowing your customers' names is a big advantage. And of course, the visibility and communication will always increase business. So I can tell you that there was a guy that used to come into my store, whether I needed jewelry or not. He came in every month with merchandise. And of course, he was there. I saw stuff, I bought stuff. I wouldn't have bought it if he wasn't there. So top of mind, you want to make sure that your business is visible and top of mind for your customers. Now, these are online sales. You've got your e-commerce, the drop shipping. You can sell on marketplace like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Pinterest. There's so many more. If you're a freelance service business, you can go to Upwork, Fiverr, and there are so many more. If you want to add anything in the chat for everyone to see, that might be worthwhile. And of course, other ways to sell your product is on your a website, a Shopify, a Facebook business page, but always know what the online expenses are. So your website has expenses, the CMS, content management is an expense, the hosting fees. There are fees for Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify. I have clients that have a Shopify website and it costs them about $30 a month. And I ask them, how much merchandise are you selling a month? Some have said to me, I haven't sold anything in a few months. And I said, well, you're losing money. You cannot have a Shopify website if you don't have the sales to support the expense. There's also monthly fees, transaction fees, shipping, storage. Amazon charges a lot for their monthly fees, transaction fees, shipping fees, storage fees. And I've had a client with an Amazon, she sells all of her product on Amazon. She's selling it for $30. And you know what she ends up with after all the fees and expenses and her cost? She ends up with $6 profit. I can tell you that's not enough. And a service business is labor, materials, supplies, and overhead. So when you're in a service business, there are the cost of your vehicle, the travel time. If you're a landscaper, you want to make sure that you get the whole neighborhood, because you don't want to travel from one neighborhood to a next to the next to the next, because you're not maximizing the jobs per hour per day. And you want to always keep in touch the cost of supplies and inventory. All of these things have to be part of your expenses, and know that what's left over is your profit. So billable hours per day equals the maximum income per employee. And you want to make sure if there are 8 billable hours a day, that if there's travel time, you want to try to get as many of those hours billed out as possible. And think about how many jobs per day in order to maximize your income, because you want to be a profitable business. And we know that there are special offers that can increase the value of your business. So I was manufacturing sterling silver jewelry, and it was guaranteed never to tarnish. And we sold millions of pieces over 20 years. And I offered a lifetime guarantee. And in 20 years, I only got 1 piece back. So a lifetime warranty most of the time may not be used, but if your product is a good product or service, you can give a warranty. Again, service, added value to the customer is giving any kind of free training, any kind of personal service. If you have any issues or questions or problems, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here for you. Any bonus offers you can offer, any money back guarantees. So sometimes people aren't sure about doing business with you, and you can say something like, try it for 30 days. And if you're not happy, I'll give you a money back guarantee. How many people do you think actually get the money back? Probably very few, if it's a quality business. And of course, you can sell memberships, subscriptions, offer online support. You basically want to make it easy for customers to do business with you. And if you're easy to do business with, then they're going to continue to think about you and refer other friends and family to you as well. Now let's talk about if there's even enough business. You really need to know the numbers. How much are you going to need to sell just to break even? And that's your daily expenses. How many sales do you need a day just to cover those expenses? And how many more do you need to make a profit that you need to make to cover your personal expenses? Because with your business, you want to make a living. So the goal is to maximize your profits. And that is going to be looking at everything you do and see if you could raise prices based on the perceived value. If you offer more value, give people more personalized service, you can charge more and people will be willing to pay it. An example would be, I bought a car from a car dealer, and to get service, I had to drive the car there. But the added value is they have a valet service. Well, they'll come and pick up the car and take it in for me. That was worth a lot. And I was very loyal to that dealership because they had that value. Or when your car's in for service, they give you a loaner car. That gives me the peace of mind that I don't need to get a ride. So think about things you can do that are a higher value or benefit to the customer. Now, you can sell gift cards, subscriptions, and memberships. And I'll tell you that I sold so many gift certificates. And I only knew when I sold my business that there were only 50% of the gift certificates were even redeemed. So when you're selling gift certificates, that helps you with your cash flow in your business. Now, you always want to get referrals. And of course, we know that word of mouth marketing is the absolute best way to get business. So your goal always is increasing sales by keeping those customers coming back. Now let's talk about the expenses. You have monthly fixed expenses. Even if you're a home-based business, what you can do is, let's say you have 10 rooms in your house and one room is your business, 10% of all of your expenses for your home is really a business expense. That's a fixed expense, 10% of your monthly expenses. And that would include things like your rent, insurance, utilities, professional fees, internet. All of these are fixed monthly expenses. And then you have variable expenses. When you're in business, sometimes you need more labor. Sometimes you need a professional to, look at a lease or to do a contract for you. You may need more equipment, more inventory, more supplies. Maybe 1 month you want to do a major marketing campaign. So you need a reserve or variable expenses each month that aren't expected. And again, knowing the daily cost to operate the business without sales is very important to make sure you could cover those expenses. And we know that profit is what comes after all expenses, and that means knowing what those expenses are. These are some overlooked overhead expenses. So I can tell you with all the clients that I've talked to, I asked them, what is the cost of the product? And they said, it's cost me $10. I said, well, did you include the shipping? No, I didn't include the shipping. Well, the shipping cost, if you get 100 items and you paid $100 for shipping, that's $1 an item for shipping that you have to add into the cost. You also have interest on loans that you have for your business or interest on credit cards. You have inventory costs. You know that if your inventory is sitting there for 3 months or more, that's obsolete inventory, and that inventory is cash. So what you want to do is make sure you always turn over that inventory that's not selling. And other overlooked expenses are equipment, materials, and supplies that you need to use and or repair or maintain. And if you're importing products, the duty on the imports, the customs broker that clears the shipments when you're importing. There are professional fees that you may pay each month or even by the year, and those professional fees need to be divided by 30 so you know your monthly fee. There's also commissions, labor, and payroll tax. That's all part of your overhead expense. And if you pay your employees when you don't have business, that's an overhead expense that you really probably shouldn't have. And of course, there are always unexpected expenses that you need to take into account. So let's talk about how your profits shrink. We hope that we have enough of a profit that we're maximizing our profits and making enough money to make a good living. So in my business, the jewelry business, there were returns, there was theft, and there was damage. And I actually added 5% for returns, theft, and damage. Sometimes you get, well, the theft and damage is something you can't control. The returns, sometimes you can resell. And if you have people owe you money for more than 90 days, you're losing profit. I can tell you when I've loaned people money, if they haven't paid me back in 90 days, guess what? I never see the money. So know that when you're giving credit to people, that if it goes over 90 days, forget about getting that money. It's going to be hard. And of course, that obsolete inventory, that is inventory that's sitting there for more than 90 days that you need to turn over because that's cash. And also in today's, economy, materials have increased in price and there are higher delivery costs. And sometimes those numbers aren't realized in your cost of goods. So make sure you put that into your cost of goods. You may need to raise your price. And of course, there's economic and natural disasters when you're not able to get the products or supplies that you need. And if you can't deliver the goods and services to your customers, guess what happens? You end up losing that customer. That customer will go somewhere else and find someone who can deliver those goods and services. So now maximizing your profit is really talking about where we can save money. So how can you decrease your spending? You can raise your credit line and credit limits by asking. You can contact your bank and or credit card companies and lower the interest rates on your credit cards and maybe even on your business loans. You can lower the finance charges on credit cards just by asking. I had the due date on 2 or 3 different credit cards on the first of the month. And I called the credit card company and I told them I needed the due date to be the 15th of the month. And I got 2 weeks of free credit just by asking. Occasionally with life, we realize that maybe we forgot to pay a bill and there was a late fee. Do you know if you call the credit card company, they'll waive that late fee, but you have to ask. And you can always negotiate payment extensions and get longer credit terms from all of your vendors and suppliers. You can also lower your rent just by asking and or subletting your space if you have a space in a commercial building. You may want to hire a part-time employee instead of a full-time employee to save money. And maybe you get an independent contractor who could do a project for you or a job as needed for you to save money. And with your reserve, you should consider getting a high yield online savings account. You know, they're paying 3% now, these online savings accounts, and that cash that you have can be transferred when needed, but at least you're getting some return on that investment. So other ways to increase your profits is to review your accounts. Make sure you're looking at all your bills and make sure there's no added fees or any mistakes. It's amazing how many mistakes you see. And of course, always get any added fees waived. Pay bills on time to prevent late charges and any interest. Think about buying used anything you need for your business at thrift stores or consignment shops. Sell things you no longer need. That's cash flow for your business. Recycle and repurpose items to give your store a new look or give your products or service, repaint your truck. Do something to set yourself apart. And always find free things online. You just never, ever know what you can find that you can use for your business. And always take advantage of promotions and discounts. Every single vendor, manufacturer, supplier has closeouts and promotions, and you should ask about them. So let's talk about how you can optimize your profits. I can tell you the minimum profit margin that you should have is 20%, but more is optimal. So when I was selling to all the major discount stores, they needed a 3.5 time markup, and they needed that because they were selling the jewelry on sale at 70% off. So they needed that kind of a markup. So ways to increase your profits is really selling more products and services, buying for less, negotiate and find other sources. Think about if you're in a service business, let's say you can either do it for washing cars or even a hairdresser, shampooing, knowing exactly how much product you use and how much it is. Now, are you able to use less product to save money? Are you able to find another source? I can tell you when I bake, instead of using 3 cups of sugar, I've used 1 cup of sugar and saving money, but also it's always too sweet. So think about, again, apply ways to your business and figuring out ways to save money. How can you decrease labor? You can find someone who does it faster and you charge the same amount of money. the material cost, decrease overhead costs any way that you can, and think about ways that you can save every single thing in your life and in your business. What can you do to decrease the costs? Because if you decrease the cost, there's more profits for you. So always remember to keep your eye on all expenses to maintain the highest profit margin. Negotiate everything you do to save money. Work with people who are easy to work with and take initiative. You want all of your employees to build your business and create more business for you. You want to respond to changes in the market and what customers need and want. You want to increase your brand awareness and visibility by getting out into the community. So when people see you, they know you're the nail lady, you're the whatever you are, they know who you are. And of course, wear branded clothing so people know who you are. Be persistent. If you have a challenging day, and believe me, there are days in business that are so challenging, you need to take a break, but never give up, because the only job security is owning a business, and it should always be enjoyable. So save more to make more. You, again, I can't emphasize it enough to be mindful of every single expense. Understanding your business finances will maximize profits. Money is everything, and every penny saved is more profit in your pocket. So let me leave you with the 5 P's of entrepreneurial success. When you're in business, you always want to have that passion and love what you do. You want to surround yourself with the very best people that support you, that build your business, that refer business to you, that help you buy better, be more efficient. Have a plan in your business and modify it regularly. Don't keep doing the same thing if you're losing money. Think about how you can enhance your business, build your business, offer something different and new. Be persistent. Don't ever give up. Profits are the reason why you're in business. And I can tell you the satisfaction you feel when growing and nurturing a business is worth it. Thank you for joining. I want to let you all know that you are never alone in business, as there are 10,000 volunteers across the country with every single business background and expertise that you can contact, and you can have more than one business mentor, and you can meet with us as often as you'd like, free of charge, for the life of your business. So take advantage of SCORE and what we have to offer and all the free resources. And now I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, Julie. Apologies, everyone, for the difficulties with the chat earlier, but you are welcome to use that to ask questions now, or the Q&A, or if you'd like to ask your question out loud, just raise your hand.
Are people able to unmute so they could ask a question?
I think that I can allow them to unmute, so that would be great if you'd like to do that. I think what we'll have to do now is just use that raise hand feature, and then I'll allow them to talk if they'd like to ask.
So if you go to the bottom of your screen, you can raise your hand. It says reactions. So if you want to go to your reactions, are there any questions?
Looks like I've got one from Jerry. Yes, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, hi. A question that's been on my mind for some time, and that is, if I have a product that's going to cost me $10 to make, I think I can sell it for $20. So there's a profit.
Losing money. You don't have enough of a market.
Okay. Well, but let's continue on with the question, and that is, if I'm going to sell it online, but I might also sell it through third-party vendors. When I sell it through a third-party vendor,
how much can they make?
Exactly. What's the split of that?
All right. Well, let's go through that. And there's a few different things. And that was the problem with my client who is selling on Amazon. She didn't have enough to offer the product wholesale. As I said, what is your cost on the $10 product?
Well, the cost of the product is $10.
You pay $10 for the product. That's your cost.
That's my cost, and I can sell it for 20.
Okay, and does that include the shipping cost and all your overhead expenses and your time?
Yes, yes, yes.
What is the product?
The product is an alternative to pepper spray that you can take anywhere.
Great idea. I love it. So traditionally, a store needs a 2-time markup. So if you have other vendors that want to sell the product, they need, if they're selling it for $20, they need to pay $10. Now, the other option, how many of these pieces do you have in stock? How many did you buy?
I'm launching next year,
How
but
much?
I'll need to understand this concept before I launch, before I make a deal with somebody and end up
So
losing
the
money.
larger the quantity, the lower the price. So if you
Yes.
could buy 1,000 items, let's say, and you can buy that instead of $10, you can pay $8, $7, or $6. Would you be happy making $1 on the item? Or what do you think you need to make profit wise?
Well, I don't know. I think my pricing is fairly elastic because I don't have a lot of competition, at least at the moment. And so I kind of feel like I've got some breathing room there. But
Well, the question is the discount you can give somebody.
yeah.
It seems to me that you want to make $10 on every single item that you sell. So how much less are you willing to make? That's my question.
Oh, well, I guess I mean I was wondering if the reasonable profit margin is $10. It costs me 10 to make, I can sell it sells for 20.
And that's
Would
100%
I
markup.
would
That's
I
a 2-time markup.
yeah, would I split that $10 with the third party
Oh, it
for
depends.
selling it? Okay,
So so let me tell you how, if, are you putting it in a retail store or are they selling it online, reselling it online?
online.
Okay, so online, there may, again, it's a negotiation. I mean, I can tell you that my sales reps used to make 20%. So if you give them the product, these people that are reselling it for you, you're going to give them product up front or they're buying the product from you.
I'm not sure yet.
If they buy the product from you, you could sell it to them at wholesale. And maybe you sell it for $15 and you make $5, so they could make $5 and they could split it. If you're giving it to them on consignment, my consignment deals were, I have the 1,000 pieces or 10,000 pieces. I'm giving them merchandise on consignment. Within 30 days, I get 70%, they get 30% or 20%. It's all a negotiation.
Okay, but it
So if
sounds
you're
like
putting the money in up front, you get more of the split. If they're purchasing it from you, you get a lesser amount of money. Now, as I said, 20%. If you sell it, if they're paying you cash on delivery and you pay 10, you can sell it for $12 and they're making $8. But you need to keep the retail price the same. Suggested retail pricing has to stay the same if you're planning to brand this product. You can't have one person charging more than another person.
Indeed.
So
Okay.
your challenge now is to try to get the product for less money and buy a larger quantity if you have the money to do that, and identify people who will resell it for you. And if they're purchasing it or if you're giving it to them on consignment. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. And you have my email address if you want to continue the conversation.
You're kind.
Any other questions?
Great. Yeah, please raise your hand or add your questions to the chat if you'd like. We've got about 5 minutes to handle questions here. Oh, Bridget's got a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Bridget.
Hello? Can you
Yes.
hear me? Okay, fantastic. So I'm sort of in the early stages, so I'm not quite sure if I have fully solidified my question, but I'm starting and have done an online miniature art show. And
Yes.
and the importance of that show for me is that those pieces are sold relatively low, so it can be like very accessible for a big amount of people. And so the way I've priced them is basically to break even on those pieces. And then I make profit by selling accessories for those pieces, frames, kits in order to participate in the show, things like that. So I'm having a hard time like figuring out like if it's going to be sustainable just to make profit off those accessory pieces.
And what's your markup on those accessories? Tell me what the markup is. Give me an example of an accessory, what you pay and what you're charging for it.
For a frame, which is the most popular accessory, it cost me about $1.50 to make, and I sell it for $9.
Okay, how much is your labor to make the frame?
Well, it's included in the $1.50. It's
How much are you charging? How many frames can you make in an hour?
I can make probably 50 frames in an hour.
Okay, and the cost of the materials, the wood?
For 50 of them, the cost of materials is $10.
Okay. So $10 divided by 50 is how much? $2, right?
No, it's less than that, not $2 a piece.
All right, so write down all of the expenses to make sure.
Yeah.
But if it actually is $1.50 and you're charging 10, that's a nice margin. Let me ask you about the art because I deal with a lot of artists.
Okay.
How much labor are you spending on each piece of art? Or are they prints or are they original, like acrylic, or what is it?
Okay, so the premise of the show is anyone can enter. So I sell kits. So people buy the kits in order to get the paper to make the art. They make the art and then and send it back to me. Then I give them a portion, and that's why I don't really make money on it, because I give them basically half of what it sells for, and that's why I don't really make a profit on it. The other half is
how much do they pay for the kit? Are they paying for the kit?
The basic kit is $20.
And what's the cost of that?
What's the cost of what?
Yeah. Do you make money on the kit?
Yeah, I mean, all I do is buy the paper and send it. So mail cost is $3, and then the paper cost is probably another $2.
So
and then labor to put it together.
So that's a nice profit margin.
Yeah, so I make profit on the kits and I make profit on the frames, and so the art itself is just like when I get the art back, I do get $6 profit, or not purely profit, but I do get $6 of what it sells for online, and the artist gets the other $6 because it sells for $12. But out of that is a bunch of costs, including shipping and shipping it out to that kind of stuff.
So how long do you think the artist spends on that piece of art?
Oh, to make it?
Yes.
Oh, it's very varied. So some of them take a couple of minutes, some of them take hours. It's really up to them.
So if it takes hours and an artist is only going to get $12 back, that's not a good use of time. There's no return on your time, and you can't make a living.
For them, it's really varied. A lot of times I get people just doing a lot of them. Sometimes people just want to participate because it's a fun sort of thing for them to do. Sure. I also, for them, put their information to their other websites on my website, so it links out to their actual like full-time artwork. So there's different benefits for them. And that's kind of their choice as to how much time and effort that they want to put into it in order to get I mean, I'm very upfront with how much they're going to get. And really, it's kind of their choice is what my thought is.
So it sounds to me like you're making enough money. Are you happy with the amount of money you're making? How much volume are you doing?
Not enough volume. But so right now on the online store, I maybe sell a couple of pieces a week, but I also have galleries do it. And I sell a lot more when the galleries put them up because it's more of an in-person show that gains a lot of traction and excitement.
Yes.
And so that's where I get a lot of people entering the show, and that's where I get a lot of people buying the pieces themselves. And then I can sell accessories with that at the
So
galleries.
you might want to focus on that business because it brings in more customers, and the interaction is that may be a better direction to go in your business. So you're trying this online, and maybe the gallery shows are going to be more profitable for you. Again, analyzing all your income and expenses to determine how to position your company and what is the best business. You're doing a great job, Bridget. Do
Thanks.
you have any other questions?
Well, so I think that I do believe that the gallery might be a good way to do it, but at the same time, like I get like thousands of pieces from those galleries. And so once the show's over, instead of giving it back to those people, I want to put them on the online gallery to give them another life and drive more, get more excitement on that online store. So later down the line, it might do better, but right now it's not as exciting, I guess.
So you're offering your products many different ways, which is absolutely the way to do it. I mean, you might want to put your art in, besides galleries, beauty salons, office buildings. There's a million different ways that you could distribute this art, and everyone loves art. So again, think about more markets.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julie. I think we are just about out of time. You all can see that Julie's email address is right there on her picture on your screen, julie.brander@scorevolunteer.org. And so I know that Julie would be open to answering more questions if you've got them. You're welcome to email her. I think I can say that, can't I, Julie?
Yes.
And great. We will follow up again with an email that will include a recording of this session and also Julie's slideshow, so you can go back and review all the information you learned today. Thank you everyone for being here, and I hope we'll see you at our next Tuesdays at 2 on the 29th. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all. Bye.